What do you do when you walk into a courthouse lobby to fix a misunderstanding and a stranger hands you papers with your name on them? How did one funny surprise guest at my wedding turn into rules that started the same day, in front of people who watched me smile? My name is Eglantine Rowe, but everyone called me Eggy because it sounded cute and easy. I was 33, and I worked as an event coordinator in a marketing firm. I planned other people's big days for a living, so I thought my own wedding had to look perfect. I did not mean perfect like peaceful. I meant perfect like pictures, comments, and people saying I was glowing. Ethan was my fiancé. He was 35, and he worked as a civil engineer. He liked plans and calm mornings. He liked silence in the house. I used to say he was stable, like that was a compliment. Later, I used the same word like it was an insult. I told myself stability was the same as boring. I still think I was right in that moment. That week, our townhouse kitchen smelled like coffee and printer paper. I had lists on the counter and a ring light on the table because Sloane said content mattered. Sloane was my best friend and bridesmaid. She talked fast and loved stories with a villain. She told me I needed a strong narrative, like my life was a brand. Ethan came in while I was scrolling. He asked why I was smiling at my phone. I said it was vendor updates. He looked over my shoulder and asked who Brady was. I said he was nobody. I said his name like it was air. Brady Walsh was my ex. We dated years ago, before Ethan. Brady was 34, a freelance videographer, and he was good at reading people. He did not act like he needed anything. He acted like he was doing you a favor by showing up. I told myself he was just part of my past. I also liked how my past still looked at me like I mattered. Brady had sent me a message about weddings being fun chaos. I had replied fast. I did not like how Ethan noticed my speed. Ethan asked why Brady was texting me now. I said Brady heard I was getting married and wanted to say congrats. Ethan asked if I told Brady about the wedding. I said everyone knew because I posted it. I made it sound normal, like Ethan was the weird one for asking. Ethan said he did not want Brady there. He said it calmly. That made me angry because calm felt like judgment. He asked me to respect our relationship. I said he was trying to control me. I told him he was acting insecure. I said grown adults could be friends with exes. I also said the wedding was about love, not fear, and he was choosing fear. He asked if I would at least set a boundary. I said I already had boundaries. I said I was loyal. I said he should trust me. I used the word trust like a weapon, not a gift. Milo came in rubbing his eyes. Milo was 6 and he was my son with Ethan. Milo asked why we were talking loud. I said we were just planning a fun day. Ethan asked Milo if he wanted cereal. Milo nodded and stared at us like he was counting our breaths. I hated that look because it made me feel like a person who did something wrong. After Ethan left for work, I went to a coffee shop near my office. I told myself I needed caffeine, but I wanted space where Ethan could not watch my face. Brady was already there, like he knew my habits. He asked if I looked tired. I said wedding planning was hard. He said I deserved to be celebrated. He said Ethan seemed like a serious guy. I agreed too fast. Brady asked who was filming the wedding. I said we hired a team. He said he could capture it in a more real way. He said he knew my angles. I told him that sounded funny. I told myself it was harmless. I also liked the idea that Brady still wanted to hold a camera on me. He asked if Ethan was okay with him coming. I said Ethan was being dramatic. I said Ethan had issues with jealousy. Brady nodded like he understood. He said he did not want problems. I said there would be no problems if Ethan acted normal. I made Ethan the problem in my mouth because it was easier than saying I was choosing attention. On my way back, I called my mother, Janice Cole. She asked how planning was going. I said Ethan was stressed and trying to limit my choices. She asked if he was starting his controlling stuff again. I said yes, even though it was not true. I did that because my mother liked simple stories. She liked clear heroes and clear villains. She told me not to shrink for a man. She told me I was the prize. I let that settle into me like a warm drink. That afternoon, I met Sloane at the bridal boutique. She asked if I had anything spicy to talk about. I said Ethan was upset about a guest. She asked who. I said my ex. Her eyes lit up like a screen. She asked if I would invite him. I said I was thinking about it. She said it would show confidence. She said men hate when women have options. She asked if Ethan acted jealous. I said yes. She told me jealousy was a red flag. She said I should not reward bad behavior. While I tried on a dress, I watched myself in the mirror. The dress was white and heavy. The stylist pinned the back and asked how I felt. I said I felt like myself again. That was a lie. I felt like a person playing a role. Sloane took pictures. She asked if I wanted to post a teaser. I said not yet. I said I wanted the first look to be special. I did not say I wanted the first look to be powerful. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. When I got home, Ethan was at the counter with his laptop open. He asked how the fitting went. I said it was fine. He asked again about Brady. I said Brady was a friend and I could handle it. Ethan asked why I needed Brady in our wedding day at all. I said he was overreacting. I said it was my day too. I said I deserved to have people who knew me. Ethan leaned back and looked tired. He asked if I would uninvite Brady for him. I said no. I told him he was making it about himself. I told him the wedding was about love, and his fear was ruining the mood. I watched his face and waited for a big reaction. I wanted him to raise his voice so I could feel clean. He did not raise his voice. He asked if I understood how it looked. I said it looked like maturity. He asked why I needed to prove maturity with an ex. I said he was twisting it. I said he did not respect me. I said respect follows results, and I had results. I meant my job, my friends, my social life. I meant the world clapping for me. Ethan's phone lit up on the counter. I saw a calendar reminder that said downtown 10:15 a.m. He turned the screen down fast. I noticed it, and I pretended I did not. I told myself it was just work. Still, a tight feeling sat in my chest. Later that night, when Ethan went to shower, I opened my messages and typed Brady's name. I sent him the venue address. I told him it would be nice if he could come by, just to see. I told myself it was a joke. I told myself Ethan would calm down once he saw how normal it was. Then I put my phone face down, like that would hide it from my own mind. The next morning, I walked into the office like I was carrying a secret under my blazer. The open plan space smelled like burnt coffee and air freshener. People were already talking too loud. They always did, but that day, it felt like they were waiting for me to add something. Kelsey Brandt leaned over the divider and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, just busy. She asked how wedding planning was going. I said it was stressful because Ethan was being difficult. I used that word on purpose. I wanted it to sound like I was carrying the relationship alone. Kelsey asked what he did. I said he was trying to tell me who I could invite. I made a face like it was obvious abuse. Kelsey's eyes got wide in a way I liked. She asked if it was an ex. I said yes and shrugged, like it should not matter. She said men got weird about that. I nodded like I was educating her. Inside, I felt proud that the story was already forming. At lunch, I sat with Sloane and two other women from my team. Sloane asked if I told Ethan yet. I said yes, and he acted jealous. She asked if he raised his voice. I said he got cold. I used a softer lie because it sounded more believable. I said he made it all about his feelings. I said I did not feel supported. People nodded. It was easy. Someone asked why I would even invite Brady. I said it was about being grown. I said I did not want a wedding that felt like a cage. I said I refused to live my life by a man's fears. I heard myself and liked how brave it sounded. Nobody asked if Ethan's fear had a reason. After lunch, I walked past the HR corridor and slowed down on purpose. The door was half open because someone had just left. I saw a poster about respectful communication and workplace support. It gave me an idea. Later, when my manager asked why I looked distracted, I said I had relationship stress and might need flexibility soon. I did not say why. I let the blank space do the work. My manager asked if I was safe. I said yes, but I sounded tired. He told me to let him know if I needed anything. I thanked him. A record was created with one short talk, and I did it like it was normal. That evening, I checked my phone and saw Brady had replied to my venue message. He said he appreciated the invite and asked if there was a rehearsal. He added a little laughing emoji. I wrote back fast and said yes, there was a rehearsal and a dinner. I told him he could stop by and bring good energy. I did not mention Ethan. I told myself it was better that way. Ethan got home around 6. Milo ran to him and asked if they could build a paper airplane. Ethan said yes, and his voice sounded warm for Milo. When he looked at me, his face changed, like a door closing. He asked how my day was. I said work was crazy. He asked if Brady had answered. I said no. I lied without thinking. It felt like brushing lint off a coat. Ethan stared at me for a second. He asked if I was sure. I said yes and kept my eyes on the stove. We went to my parents' house the next night for dinner. My mother wanted it to be a celebration meal before the wedding. She set a long table with too many candles and took pictures of the food before anyone ate. My father, Gordon, poured drinks and tried to keep the mood light. My sister Taryn was there too, sitting close to me like she was on my team. She asked if everything was okay with Ethan. I said he was stressed but fine. I squeezed her hand like we shared a secret. Ethan sat across from me. He smiled at Milo and asked him to tell Grandpa about school. Milo talked about a class project and dinosaurs. Ethan listened like Milo was the only person in the room. It made me feel like Ethan was performing goodness. My mother raised her glass and started a toast. She said she was proud of me for finding my voice. She said I was strong and independent. Then she looked at Ethan and smiled too wide. She said Ethan was lucky I chose him. People laughed. My aunt laughed. Even Taryn smiled, like she did not want to ruin the moment. Ethan's face stayed calm. That calm made me angry again. I wanted him to push back so I could say he was disrespectful. I wanted him to ruin the toast so I could blame him. He did not. After dinner, when Milo went to wash his hands, my mother leaned closer and asked Ethan if he was behaving. She said it like a joke, but it was not a joke. Ethan asked what she meant. She said she meant not letting jealousy spoil the wedding. Ethan said he wanted a peaceful day. My mother said peace was not the same as control. I watched, pleased because she was saying the words I liked. Ethan looked at me and asked quietly if I had already invited Brady. I said he was being dramatic at my mother's table. I said he was embarrassing me. My father cleared his throat and asked everyone to eat dessert. Taryn asked Ethan if he could just trust me. She said it in a sweet voice like she was helping. Ethan nodded once, but his eyes dropped to his plate. In the driveway later, Ethan asked why I let my mother talk to him like that. I said my mother was joking. He said it did not feel like a joke. I said he was too sensitive and always looking for insult. I asked why he needed to be the victim. I knew that line would sting, and I used it anyway. On the way home, Ethan drove with both hands on the wheel, like he was holding himself together. He asked if I wanted to marry him at all. I said of course I did, and he was being ridiculous. I said he was trying to make me doubt myself. I flipped the truth. It felt smooth. At home, Milo fell asleep fast. Ethan carried him to bed and tucked him in. I watched from the hallway and felt a sharp guilt I did not want. I pushed it down and told myself Ethan was using Milo to look good. Later, I walked past the guest room and heard a low hum. It sounded like the shredder we kept for junk mail. I paused. The hum stopped. Ethan opened the door a crack and asked what I needed. I said nothing, just looking for a charger. He said there might be one in the kitchen drawer. He closed the door gently. I stood there for a moment, staring at the seam of the door like it could explain something. Then I went back to the kitchen and opened my phone. In the group chat with Sloane, she had typed that she found a perfect meme about jealous men. I laughed out loud and sent it to her, because laughter felt like winning. The week of the wedding moved fast, like I was running and still late. I told myself the stress made me sharp, not cruel. I made lists at midnight. I checked seating charts like they were moral tests. I looked at Ethan and waited for him to act wrong so I could feel right. 2 days before, Ethan asked again about Brady. He asked if Brady was invited or just stopping by. I said he was not invited, and I said it like the truth did not matter. Ethan asked why I could not simply say no to Brady. I said Ethan was acting like my boss. I said he was jealous of my past because he did not have one worth talking about. The words came out clean, and I hated how easy they were. Sloane kept pushing my phone toward my face for selfies. She said the best weddings were the ones that looked effortless. I agreed, and practiced my smile in the bathroom mirror. When Ethan walked by, he asked why I was rehearsing. I said I was trying to look good for him. That was not fully false. I wanted to look good for everyone. The morning of the wedding, we were in a hotel. The hallway smelled like carpet cleaner and perfume. The bridesmaids moved in and out of my room, carrying curling irons and garment bags. Milo was with Ethan in another room down the hall, because I said I needed quiet to get ready. I told myself that was normal. I also liked being in control of who saw what. Sloane asked if Brady was coming. I said he might come to say congrats. She grinned and said it would be iconic. She asked if I told Ethan. I said Ethan did not need every detail. She said men did not understand social things. I let her words settle like permission. Brady showed up before noon. I did not invite him into my room at first. I stepped into the hallway and closed the door behind me. He asked if I looked nervous. I said it was just wedding nerves. He handed me a small box and said it was a good luck thing. I did not open it. I asked why he came early. He said he wanted to see me before it got crazy. He said I deserved a day where everyone looked at me. I liked that sentence too much. I told him he could come to the venue, but I said he had to act normal. He said he always acted normal. He smiled like I was the one who was funny. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself Ethan would have to get over it because we were about to be married. At the venue, the lobby was bright and cold from air conditioning. People were arriving in nice clothes and carrying gift bags. The coordinator ran around with a headset. I walked in with my dress bag and my bridesmaids like a little parade. I heard whispers. I knew I looked good. I also knew people were watching to judge everything, not just the flowers. Brady arrived like he belonged there. He wore a suit and carried a camera bag. He greeted people with a confident smile. He asked the coordinator where the light was best. He talked to my cousins like he was family. I should have stopped him. Instead, I enjoyed the way he made the room feel like a show. Someone asked who he was. I said he was an old friend who knew weddings. I said it with a laugh so it sounded safe. A few guests lifted their phones. I pretended not to notice. Sloane whispered that this was going to go viral in a good way. I believed her because I wanted to. Ethan arrived with Milo. Milo looked small in his little outfit and kept touching his collar. Ethan adjusted it for him and asked if he could breathe. Milo nodded. Ethan then looked up and saw Brady. Ethan did not shout. He did not run. He just stopped walking for half a second, like someone hit pause. He asked me if I invited Brady. I said Ethan was making a scene. He asked again, very calm, if I invited Brady. I said Brady was only there to congratulate us. I said Ethan needed to smile. I said it was our day. Ethan looked at Brady and asked what he was doing here. Brady said he was just supporting me. Brady said he was there for good vibes. Ethan asked why Brady had a camera bag. Brady said he was a professional and liked to capture moments. Sloane laughed, loud, like it was a joke. I laughed too, because laughing felt like control. Ethan asked me to step aside with him. I followed him near the vendor desk. He asked why I disrespected his boundary. I said he never set a real boundary, only fear. He asked if I cared how it made him feel. I said Ethan cared too much about feelings and not enough about my happiness. I said he was trying to shrink me on my own wedding day. His jaw tightened. He asked if I heard myself. I said yes, and I said he was the one being cruel. Then Ethan took out his phone. He did not wave it around. He did not show anyone. He just made a few calls with his back turned. He spoke in a low voice. He sent a few texts. The coordinator walked toward him with a worried face. Ethan nodded once and kept his tone steady. I could not hear the words, but I saw how people reacted. It felt like a door closing in the building. The coordinator came to me and asked if there was a problem with the schedule. I said Ethan was being difficult. I said he was having a jealousy moment. I said they should continue. The coordinator said she needed to follow instructions from the account holder. I felt heat rise in my face because I understood what that meant. A few minutes later, guests started murmuring. Someone asked why the music stopped. Someone else asked why the bar staff looked confused. I saw the florist talking with the coordinator, pointing at a clipboard. I heard the word cancel float through the air like smoke. I turned to Ethan and asked what he was doing. He asked me to stop pretending. He said he would not stand in front of people and marry someone who made him a joke. I said I was not making him a joke. Brady was just there. Ethan said Brady being there was not the only problem. He said the problem was me choosing it and then lying. I told him he was overreacting and punishing me. I said he was trying to embarrass me in public. I said he was proving my mother right. Ethan took his ring off slowly. He placed it in my hand. He asked me to keep it safe because it was still mine to return later, not to throw. He spoke like he was following rules in his head. That calm scared me more than anger. I heard someone gasp behind us. A phone camera light blinked on. I wanted to scream at them to stop filming. Instead, I smiled at the crowd, like this was just a delay. I told people Ethan needed a moment because he was emotional. I said it like it was cute. Ethan walked toward the side exit with Milo. Milo looked back at me once. His eyes were wide and wet, but he did not cry. I hated him for being quiet, because quiet made things real. I hurried after Ethan and asked him to come back. He asked me to step away. He said he would talk later, only about Milo. As Ethan passed the lobby bench, his phone screen flashed when he unlocked it. I saw a grid of rows and dates, like a spreadsheet. I did not see a title. I saw order. I saw planning. Then he turned the screen away and kept walking. Brady stepped closer to me and asked if I was okay. I said Ethan was ruining my life. Brady said Ethan was insecure and fragile. I nodded like that was the only explanation. I looked at the guests again and lifted my chin. In my head, I told myself this was still my day. I told myself Ethan was the villain, and everyone would see it soon. I did not notice how many people had stopped smiling. I only noticed that Ethan was gone, and the room felt colder without him. The next day felt worse than the wedding day, because there was no music to hide behind. The internet did not care about my reasons. It cared about a clip. It cared about Ethan walking out with Milo. It cared about me standing there in white, frozen like a statue. I woke up in the hotel bed with my phone buzzing. Sloane had sent me screen recordings from guests. She said the footage was everywhere. She said we needed to post our side before Ethan did. I told her Ethan would not post because he was too proud. I said he would crawl back once he calmed down. I believed that because it made me feel safe. I posted a story with a sad filter and a caption about protecting my peace. I did not name Ethan, but I pointed at him without pointing. I wrote about men who punish women for having a past. My mother reposted it fast. My sister added a heart emoji. The likes came in like warm rain, and I let it soak me. Brady texted asking if I was okay. I said Ethan made a scene and left. Brady said Ethan sounded insecure. I replied that Ethan always needed control. Brady said I deserved better. I told myself that was not flirting. I told myself it was support. When I got back home, the townhouse felt wrong, like someone had moved the walls. Ethan's shoes were gone from the entry. The kitchen counters were clean, too clean. There were 2 mugs on opposite sides of the sink, not touching. I saw Milo's backpack by the door, but Milo was not there. The silence made my skin itch. I called Ethan. It went to voicemail. I called again. It went to voicemail again. I texted him that we needed to talk. I wrote that he could not do this to me. I wrote that he was hurting our family. I hit send and stared at the screen like it owed me an answer. A few minutes later, he replied with one short message. He said he would only discuss Milo and logistics. He said Milo was safe. He said I could see Milo at the scheduled time. I read it 3 times. I felt insulted, like he was demoting me. I called my mother and told her Ethan took Milo. She asked if he kidnapped him. I said no, but I let her say the word. I let it hang. She said we should call the police. I said that might look messy. I acted responsible while I planted fear. That afternoon, I drove to the school pickup line anyway, because I wanted witnesses. I parked where other parents could see my face. When the kids came out, I saw Ethan across the lot. Milo was holding his hand. Ethan spoke to the teacher calmly. He looked like a normal father. It made me furious. I walked up and asked Milo if he missed me. Milo nodded but did not smile. Ethan asked me to keep the exchange simple. I told him he could not treat me like a stranger. He said this was not a discussion. He said Milo needed calm. He held out Milo's jacket and asked me to check the zipper. He acted like I was a coworker. I tried to pull Ethan aside. I asked why he was doing this in public. He said he was keeping it respectful. He said I could message him about schedules. I asked why he was being cold. He said he was being careful. That word hit me like a slap. Careful meant he was thinking. Careful meant he was not guessing. On the way home, Milo asked why the wedding stopped. I told him Daddy got scared. I told him Daddy did not like surprises. Milo asked if Daddy still loved me. I said yes, but I said Daddy was stubborn. Milo looked out the window like he did not believe me. I told myself children did not understand adult problems. Still, my throat felt tight. That evening, Sloane came over with takeout and her laptop. She said we needed to plan a live video. She said we could explain how Ethan embarrassed me. She said the public loved a comeback. I agreed. I wanted the crowd back on my side. I wanted Ethan to see comments calling him weak. Sloane asked if I had proof Ethan was controlling. I said I had years of examples. She asked for a screenshot. I scrolled through my messages with Ethan and saw mostly normal things. Groceries, Milo's school, bills. It did not match my story. I felt annoyed at Ethan for being so reasonable on paper. I tried to create proof by provoking him. I sent Ethan a long text saying he was cruel and unstable. I said he was destroying Milo's home. I waited for an angry reply I could screenshot. He did not take the bait. He responded with a short line again, saying he would use one channel for parenting messages and he would not argue. He added a time for pickup and drop-off. No emotion, just a plan. I drove to the grocery store because I could not sit still. In the parking garage, my hands shook on the steering wheel. I stared at the ceiling cameras and felt paranoid. I told myself Ethan was turning people against me. Then I remembered Brady in the hotel hallway, and my stomach turned hard. I saw Ethan's car 2 rows over. I should not have, but I walked closer. The car looked clean inside, like someone had just vacuumed. I noticed a small dash cam near the mirror. I stood there too long, staring at it, imagining what it could have captured. I stepped back fast when I heard footsteps. At home later, I went up the stairwell carrying bags. Halfway up, my phone buzzed with a missed call from no caller ID. I called back and got nothing. My heart kicked. I told myself it was spam. Still, my palms went sweaty. Inside, I saw Ethan's old filing box on the shelf, but it was moved. Next to it was a neat folder labeled Utilities. I did not remember it being there. I opened a drawer and found it locked. I turned the knob again like it might change. It did not. I heard a soft click in my head, like a new line being drawn. Later that night, while I scrolled, I saw a notification on my tablet. File uploaded successfully. It was from the shared cloud account. I stared at it. I did not know what file. I did not know who uploaded it. I only knew Ethan was doing something quiet while I was doing something loud. I told myself he was trying to scare me. I told myself he was being petty. I told myself he would stop once he saw I was not backing down. Then I opened my messages with Brady again, and I realized I had not deleted everything. I started deleting line by line, like cleaning could undo time. 2 days after the pickup line, I stopped calling it space and started calling it punishment. I said it out loud to make it true. I told Sloane Ethan was trying to train me like a dog. Sloane said I should not let him set rules. She said I should show strength. I liked that word, strength, because it covered a lot of ugly choices. That night, Sloane took me to a rooftop bar. The city lights looked soft from up there. People laughed like nothing serious ever happened. Sloane told me to post a picture and act unbothered. She said the internet hated a woman who begged. I posted a selfie with a short caption about knowing my worth. My mother liked it within seconds. Brady showed up later, even though I did not invite him. He asked if I needed anything. I said I needed my life back. He said Ethan looked like the type to punish when he felt small. I nodded hard, like it explained everything. Brady said I could stay with him for a bit if Ethan kept acting cold. I said I did not need saving. Still, I let Brady sit too close because it made me feel chosen. On the way home, I checked my phone and saw a message from Taryn. She asked if she could see the invite thread with Brady. She said she wanted to understand the timeline. I felt a quick flash of anger. I replied that she should trust me, not question me. She replied that trust needed facts right now. Her words felt like betrayal. The next morning, my father called. He asked if I was okay. He said he heard people at his gym talking about the wedding video. He asked me to stop posting and start fixing things quietly. I said Ethan started it by leaving. My father said leaving was not the same as lying. I told him he was making me the villain. He sighed and said he did not want to pick sides, but he wanted me to think. I ended the call first because I did not like being told to think. At work, the mood shifted. People still asked me what happened, but their faces looked different. Kelsey asked if Ethan really snapped. I said he did. I said he cancelled everything to embarrass me. Kelsey asked if there was any other reason he would do that. I said no. Then she asked, careful, if Brady was more than a guest. I laughed like it was absurd. She did not laugh back. My manager asked me into a small room near HR. He asked if I was okay and if home was stable. I said yes, but I sounded offended. He asked if I needed time off. I said I could handle it. I asked if Ethan had called the office. He said no, and he looked confused by the question. I walked out feeling less powerful than before. In the afternoon, Ethan came to the townhouse to pick up Milo's art folder. He did not come inside. He stood by the doorway like he had practiced where to place his feet. He asked if Milo's lunchbox was in the bag. I said yes. I tried to pull the talk toward us. I asked why he was acting like a robot. He said he was keeping things simple for Milo. I said Milo needed both parents in one home. He said Milo needed calm more than proximity. I told Ethan he was being cruel. He asked me not to use words like that in front of Milo. Milo was behind me on the stairs, listening. Milo asked if we were mad again. I told Milo we were not mad, just talking. Ethan told Milo they would go read at Grandma Marilyn's. Milo nodded and held Ethan's hand. When they left, I stared at the driveway and felt my control slipping away. I sent Ethan another message. I said he was breaking our family and making me look bad. I said I would tell everyone the truth if he kept doing this. He replied with one line, saying he would only communicate through a single message thread about parenting. I hated how neat it sounded. That evening, I drove to Ethan's work site because I wanted a face-to-face moment. I told myself it was romantic, like I was fighting for love. It was not. It was panic. I found the trailer with the company logo and knocked. Ethan stepped outside instead of letting me in. He asked what I needed. I said I needed my husband. He said he could not be my husband while I treated him like an obstacle. I asked if he was seeing someone else. He said no. He said he was focusing on Milo and stability. I told him he was acting superior. He said he was acting responsible. I saw his phone in his hand, held low and steady. A soft beep sounded, like a timer or an app starting. I asked what that was. He said he liked to keep notes, so he did not forget details. I said he was recording me. He said he was not interested in drama, only accuracy. My stomach tightened again. Behind him, on a small folding table, I saw a sticky note that said, "Bring forms." I also saw his laptop open to a grid of numbers. No title, just columns. He closed it when he noticed my eyes. He did not rush. He did it like someone shutting a book after a chapter. I tried a different tactic. I said he was ruining my mental health. I said I could not sleep. I said he was being heartless. Ethan asked if I had considered how my choices affected him. I said he was flipping it on me. I said I was the one embarrassed. He said embarrassment was not the same as harm. He said Milo was watching everything. I mentioned Brady like a test. I said Brady was just a guest, and Ethan knew that. Ethan asked why I kept calling it just when I knew it was not. I asked what he meant. He said he was not going to argue about it. He said he was not going to fight with me in a parking lot. He asked me to leave the work site. I drove home shaking. At home, my mother came over without asking. She walked in like she owned the air. She asked if Ethan apologized yet. I said no. She said we needed to go louder. She said we should post a long statement and make Ethan look cold. She said people would pressure him. Milo came into the living room with a toy car and stopped when he heard her voice. He asked where Daddy was. My mother said Daddy was being mean. Milo frowned and hugged the toy to his chest. I told my mother to stop saying that. She asked why I was protecting Ethan. I said I was protecting Milo. She rolled her eyes like Milo was a prop. Taryn arrived later and did not smile. She asked me again to show her the messages with Brady. She said she saw Brady comment on Sloane's post and it looked personal. I said Taryn was being dramatic. Taryn said she was tired of being used as backup for my lies. I told her she was jealous. She said she was ashamed. After they left, I sat alone in the kitchen. The counter was still clean. The drawer was still locked. My phone showed delivery tracking in a browser tab I did not remember opening. I felt like the house was quietly moving without me. Ethan finally came by late to drop off Milo's other shoes. He did not step in. He looked at me for a long second, like he was deciding something. I asked him if he even cared that I was falling apart. He said he cared about Milo having peace. I said I was Milo's mother, and he could not cut me out. Ethan said he was not cutting me out. He said he was setting boundaries. I asked him what he was doing. He did not answer the way I wanted. He said he would handle everything properly. In the courthouse lobby, the floor shined like ice and my hands felt empty. A process server said my name and handed me papers in front of Ethan and his mother. I saw divorce filing and temporary orders that started today, a set parenting schedule, the home for him, and one message app only. I tried to speak, but Ethan only said he wanted peace for Milo.